Folks, when the Air Zoo started right back over here in a little hangar, and they moved over here to this building. It's a hangar right on the airport, and then over the years they built onto this and expanded it. And the other facility, their first facility, was just research, development, painting, and so forth, the rebuilding of the aircraft. And then they moved to this facility. This is where you come to see the fly-ins. I get the this summer there'll be a B-20 or B-17 coming in here again. There'll be a B-25 coming in here, and possibly the Huey again. But this is right on the airport. You hear me talk about the VOR, okay, the variable omni rangefinder. It's a navigation aid that aircraft have. That's it, right there in the middle of that cone. Has a circle around it on the ground. There's a navigation aid in there, a radio, as it were, that only is tuned to that frequency and that frequency only, and will guide you right in here in zero visibility. And they do have a wonderful ILS system here, an instrument landing system, especially when you're coming in from the south. You're landing on 3.5. That's quite a system. These are public hangars out here that you can rent and so forth. And of course the on-site radar and the new control tower you can see over there across the field. I'll be right back. There's small aircraft out here right now doing touch and goes. Beautiful weather day, light breeze. This is when they can get their hours in. Gotta get them T&Gs done. Their instructors build them hours. I'll be right back. And this is the entry to the Flight Discovery Center. They have little trams that bring you from the main zoo that's over there, a few hundred meters away, over to here. We'll walk up in here and see some static displays they have. Vintage Korean War. And as well the Canberra, but they use those in Nam as well. Walter Cronkite took a famous bombing mission ride in a Canberra in Nam and recorded it. And he was riding in the rear seat, and they flew over an area, and then the pilot got on the bomb run and dropped these bombs, and you can hear Walter Cronkite, he's going, and there they go, 1, 2, 3. I could feel him go, I could feel him drop, and he's like all excited because it was he'd never experienced anything like none of us have. We're generally the ones on the ground hiding. And there's the control tower and the VOR there in the middle of the field. Okay. And back here is where the aircraft will come right in and taxi right on up onto this beautiful pad behind the Air Zoo, and then they give ride demonstrations, they give rides and flying museums. When they come in this summer, I hope to be here and show that to you. Well, let's go inside. Take a look at the logo of the Air Zoo, where it gets its name. It's really the Kalamazoo Aviation History Museum, but got the flying tiger, wildcat, hellcat, bearcat, of course tomcat, tiger cat. Yeah, it's pretty catty around here. I'll be right back. And a nice little Cessna flight. Oh, the back of the Canberra. You can come out here and sit all day. Picnic tables, no charge for that. Park out there and sit here and watch the planes take off. This one back here, he's just winding up. That's an older Piper right there. I think that's a Piper. I may be wrong, but it just, I'm pretty sure that that's a fabric body, fabric wings. You're probably talking 50s right there. It's a beautiful day. I don't blame that pilot, that owner right there, for going flying. We'll be right back. This is just one of the things they do here in the building. Restoring a Dauntless torpedo bomber, dive bomber right there. That's a dive bomber. Just like the one you've seen in the other room, in the other museum, other building. Be right back. Now, back in the day, after the A-37s left Battle Creek, Air National Guard, National Guard got the A-10s. Hogs on guard. A picture of them covering troops in Bosnia. I'll show you something that happened to one of those hogs from Battle Creek. This is what is left, one of the engine nacelles. Starboard side of the Wolfman's A-10 on a mission in the Persian Gulf. Hit with a enemy missile. You can see where the engine was attached onto the aircraft. Hard points, attach points, connection points. That might be fuel. Let's think. That might be the fuel line. Don't quote me on that, but it's the only liquid-looking line along there. Here's the intake nacelle and so forth. Look at the roof. See, Battle Creek is blown right off it, and you can see underneath the honeycomb construction of the material, and there's the skin of the A-10 peeled right back. There's cobwebs up here. It's been here a while, huh? I'd say that's a mounting point right there, a hard mount. The bottom of it just rolled up. And again, it looked like this, it landed back in Kuwait. I believe it was Kuwait, yeah. Operation Iraqi Freedom. Yep. Happened on April 8, 2003. This plane was piloted by then Major Gary Wolfman Wolf. He took off from Ahmad al-Jabar Air Base in Kuwait to support coalition troops as they approached Baghdad. Yep. He flew it more than 100 miles. All messed up, brought it back and landed it. A few of the older aircraft engines in here, motors. There's a couple of motors down here that you'll see that would have been in aircraft like the DC-3 and even the B-29. They also have events out here, right out onto the apron where the aircraft can come in. The big Wright turbos, 18 cylinders. F-106 cockpits. Other cockpits here that you can get in, have all the instruments in them, even for helicopters. Here's one I believe you'll see on the B-17. I believe. Maybe not. No, is that a 40? No. This is from a B-29 Super Fort. And so is this one. The one behind me is new. Yeah, this one's all mounted. All on a large mounting hanger and support dolly. Hey, there's the B-29. We're going to get that flare out of there. There we go. These are the type that dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Look at the size of that propeller. And it's heated. These are heat elements that get real hot. See right there, electric de-icing boot. You don't want ice to build up. You know, and bring the airplane down. Have it along the wingtips and the leading edges of the control surfaces here and there. But these right here would Sometimes they would be a combination of heat and expansion, where there would be an air pump that would pump air into these things, and just enough just to expand them enough to break the ice off, and away it would go. And some use heat. This appears to have both. All right. I promised you a big rocket motor. A little bit bigger than what propelling this craft up here. Let's go take a look. Well, right here we happen to have another J58 from the SR-71 Blackbird. Kind of back here against a big, beautiful mural of Herr von Braun's Saturn V. The rocket that took our astronauts to the moon. Wow. Look at the size of those motors. Remember we were talking about the Falcon 9 and so forth? Yeah? Yeah, well, this is a little bit different, isn't it? Look at this baby. Let's take a look at this from standing back just a little ways. All the way from the ceiling to the floor. Over the top of. We're not going to do a professional fisherman show here and hold the fish up way away from the photography. That is one big engine back there. This is a monster. I'm just going to reach up and put my hand on the rim. Look at this. That is some kind of steel. All made in America. Look at that chamber there. You believe the thrust that came out of this. And the others positioned right next to it. Fantastical. The crew of restoration is over here working on one of the aircraft. And they are hard at work at it. And they have the gates open right here to where we can kind of walk around and stand here and look at this for a minute. They have one of the wings here in the back. Oh yes, look at this, the engine. Beautiful. Beautiful. Oh, I'm fine. Thank you. That's on like a turn dolly. They can spin that wing around on the ends like a lathe and work on the sides. See, he's got little pins in all on the bottom where the new rivets need to go. And as soon as everything is in place, then he'll install the brand new rivets. 2 FAA specs. This is not a joke here. You can see one of the, I believe that might be the tail. It is right there. And other parts that are damaged or so forth. They remake them right here. Let's go around the front. This is what they're putting back together. It went from this right there. To this right here. Here's one of the helicopter cockpits. You can get in and take a little ride. And of course, another one here. There are fellows that work back here. There's a fellow back there working on the dive flaps. The outer aileron right there on the starboard wing. Yep, they're looking at the attachment points and so forth that the aileron is going to attach to. And you can see the dive brakes, the dive flaps are extended and just hanging there. Very, very cool. Break time. Well, of course, this being the air zoo, and I'm having all the different cats here from Grumman, they also added this beauty. Now, this is a static display, doesn't fly, but last time it did. Take a look and see what this F11F Tiger, who they flew for. Be right back. That's right, the Blue Angels. Angel 5, Grumman Tiger. There you go. Right next to it's a plane that was still serving, and I seen two of the last ones fly before they were turned in by the German Luftwaffe, the West German Luftwaffe. And that was the F-106 Starfighters. Yes, Starfighter. These were called the missile with a man in it. They were very hard to fly. Many people, men, were killed in these in training. I forget how many Germans, West Germans, were killed in these in training alone. But they were notorious. Refueling probe right there. It did not retract. That's where it stayed. This is a Charlie model. These were fast. 1,500 miles an hour at 50,000 feet. They were interceptors. Okay. These were replaced by the F-15, as I remember. I think the Germans actually took on the F-4 Phantom for a while after these. And then the 15s we had over there. There's the 20 millimeter M61 General Electric Vulcan cannon. Ready to light them up. Only fires from the top barrel. So it only needs a small firing port. This is a spinning around, cranking them off. Of course, it was a light bomber. And I believe these could also carry a nuclear weapon. And I'm not kidding. A couple of other interesting aircraft back here. I'm going to turn around and see what's behind me here. Another Bombay. Well, I'm under an aircraft right here that we'll look at here in a second. More recognizable directions. Here's one where almost everybody who flew this or crewed this particular aircraft signed the Bombay door. There's a mirror down here below so that you can see what's tucked away up in that Bombay. Wow, that's quite a bunker busting smart bomb right there. Well, I wonder what these little funny scallops are here along the front edge, covered up with that yellow panel. Well, that's kind of weird. Here's another one. Smart looking bombs over here. Let's go see what this is. Before we go back and take a look at that, we're going to watch these craftsmen cut a little sheet metal here. It won't be long, and the pieces that they're cutting will be on this airplane that they're working on. Very cool. This is the aircraft we were just underneath, the F-117. Let's take a look at the Shaba's port side, Bombay. You'll look, see right up inside. Now you can see you've been inside the Port Bombay of Shaba. And what this aircraft did not drop from this Bombay, unbelievable. You have to read about it. Super, super famous Bombay door art. couldn't really put nose art on these planes, so they had to conceal it. I mean, these things were secret, man. They flew into Baghdad and tore that place up. Them people there didn't know what the hell going on or where that was coming from. Not one of these planes was hit. Right back. There's the landing gear. Of course, the famous tails of the black sheep. Oh, look at this, no push. What do you do with John? I push ya, I push ya, I push ya. I wonder if John ever thought that there'd be something like this on the face of the earth. Back when that song was written. When I was a boy, they still had propeller aircraft. They had a lot of jets, but yeah. All right, back here, you find at the time, I believe it still might be, the largest Rick Herder mural that's in the world. That's what I was told years ago. I met Rick years ago and bought Winter Wolves, a T-47 lithograph, hand signed by him and the ace Gabby Grabowski, 28 Arrow victories in Europe, and some others, and yes. And if you look right back up in here in the corner, you can see, get right here just right. I had to do this the same way the last time. You just see Rick Herder's signature there, right in the bottom corner. Sorry, this is about the best we're going to see of that. I'll be right back. Many helicopters these days are powered by turboshaft engines, jet turboshaft engines. They use jet fuel. They're jet turbine engines connected to drive shafts that are in gearboxes that turn the blades. There's one of the two. This is a twin engine. The whole engine pack right here. Not very big. Those two engines right there power that ship right there. The Green Giant, the Jolly Green. Isn't that something? A lot of power. Thanks to Mr. Sikorsky. Be right back. Now this is a whale of a plane too, Korean War vintage. Too late for World War II by quite a couple of years there. But this was the North American F-86 Sabre jet. And these babies were hell on earth against the enemy. So fast they have big speed brakes that flip out on the back side, big speed brake panels to help slow it down when they land. 650 caliber machine guns. Little radar nodule here on the nose. And right next to its counterpart that they went up against. Its nemesis, the Soviet MiG-15. They had different names for different things back in the day. You can see the speed brakes on the MiG are deployed. That would be upon landing to help slow the aircraft down. This one they happen to get from the Polish Air Force years ago, and then they repainted this into the Soviet paint job. The Polish red and white checkerboard pattern was on a small patch here on the tail on either side. Of course, Poland was part of the Warsaw Pact. They were under the thumb of Russia back in the day, and so forth. But this is the MiG-15. Be right back. Well, they had a MiG-17 as well, and I believe both of them had a 23 millimeter cannon, 223 millimeter right there, and 137 millimeter right here. So when they would come up against in Korea, these are the Shooting Star, the P-80s and so forth. Yeah, this is what they would use against them. They had a couple of missiles too, but then this morphed into the MiG-17, and those are what took on the F-4 Phantoms and the Skyhawks and everything in Vietnam. There are a few of these left too, but these didn't last too long when you got a F-4 on them. They were done. Be right back. See, just outside their paint booth, one of the little cowlings right here, going through initial phases of paint, probably testing to make sure the colors are right, because this is the way it's going to look. Pretty close to that. Other little pieces over here too. They have. And of course, the gentleman back here. You can see all the little pins where the rivets are going to go, all along the edges. A lot of work. And it's not cheap. Be right back. A lot of time you hear about in-flight refueling. Okay? Well, here's a Sky Warrior, an A3. They were based on aircraft carriers, and they held fuel, and they could unreel a drogue and fuel incoming aircraft or so forth, maybe low on fuel, and make sure they could make it back in. Okay, well, here's a training version of the Sky Warrior actually taking on fuel itself, because they could take on fuel in the air from larger supply craft, KC-135s and so forth, and pump it internally into its tanks. And then, as soon as they are full, you could disconnect and then fly over closer and start hooking up the smaller jets as they're coming in. Or even another Sky Warrior, anything. Let's take a look at the flight deck as close as we can get to this training module. Okay, the stairs would be lowered, of course. And we have an anti-eddy cage right here. Yeah, anti-Edwards Adventures cage. But we can get a little closer and we'll try to look up in there, see what the flight deck looks like. I do see the controls and so forth, a few other things. It looks complete. It's probably why they have an souvenir cage. I'll be right back. And for those found with souvenirs, there's the famous cot and pole, tongue-in-cheek. Maybe they would tie you all frogged out in the middle of the propeller wheel and give you a spin. Again, tongue-in-cheek, I can't help it. There's the exit door. I better go before I get the hook. I'll be right back. I want to talk about Shaba back here some more. Hey, what's happening, man? Good to see you all. What? Against what wall? Here's a little information on the Shaba. Of course, it's Lockheed F-117 Alpha Tactical Strike. Production date is 85. 2 non-afterburning 404s. A little over 1,000-mile range. A little over 600 miles an hour. This particular airplane, nicknamed Shaba, Arabic for Phantom, this F-117A is the first on display in a non-government institution. As one of the Air Zoo's combat veterans, this F-117A participated in Operations Just Cause, Desert Storm, and Allied Force. Shaba took part in a total of 59 missions and logged 5,038.30 hours. A total flight time before retiring from service in 2007. The Shaba. Very interesting. Let's go check out. These were classics outside Kmart's and things like that back in the day. Except the propeller on the top was a real whirlybird propeller that's been refabricated into a disc, and so was the tail. There was a real spinning propeller back there. I know because I've been in a couple back in the day. So that's cool that they restored this. They repainted it and made it into a rescue whirlybird. Next to it, I think this is the cockpit of an F-16. Let's see if it has the HOTAS system. Oh, yes, yeah. And you see the way the seat is reclined? Okay, the whole cut of the cockpit. All right, F-16. Let's find something else. Here's another one. Recognize that cockpit? A lot of those were used on Grand National boats, not Grand National boats, but your racing boats, like the Miss Budweiser and so forth. The unlimited hydroplanes started running F-16 cockpit canopies. And I knew I could come up with a little history of boat racing. I seen them race in the Tonawanda River, or whatever that was, Tonawanda, New York, upriver from Niagara Falls. Went out there for the boat races, seen the hydroplane races one time. It was very impressive. There you go, you can get in here and this one, I think, is the F-106. Take a look here. You can see it's a trainer. You can see where they could service it from the rear and the side panels. And yes, this one still contains the instruments. Of course, this is throttle over here. This is right next to that gray handle on the other side of the seat ejection handle. You grab both these and pull up, and bang, you eject out of here. It's gone. There she is right there. You'll see the back of the canopy assembly and so forth. Very nice. Children just love these things and play with them. I think this was the 106. Yes, now see, this was the type of aircraft that W flew. President Bush. Yep. Yes, he did. George Herbert Walker W. The son. Absolutely, he was an F-106 pilot. All right, be right back. Another great display. Our local heroes. Flight bag and helmet. Knee pad. Thousand-hour club in A-37s. Noel Hanna, Lieutenant Colonel. Really cool. Be right back. Here's a great little picture from back in the day. In that room that we were just in was the whole air zoo. And you can see Sue Parrish's P-40 right here on display. Back when it was flying. Yeah. And now, of course, we've seen it in episode number 1, hanging from the ceiling on display, the main entrance. Right back. And we'll end here with a little storyboards here of Mr. Pete Parrish, remembering him, co-founders here of the Air Zoo, and instrumental, of course, out in the Upjohn Company back in the day. Man, look at the signatures. Look at the signatures on there. There's Parfait, Paul Lambert. Man, I've never seen this. This is from Williams College. He was a philanthropist. That's for sure. There he is flying the Corsair over the top of the Upjohn company. Of course, that he was associated with now the Pfizer company, just south of here. You've seen videos I've done on that plant. That's building 41 right below him there. The building that's here above his port side wing no longer exists. Okay, they used to be quite a facility. That was their headquarters. Now that's a vacant field. It was a staging area for their new vaccine production plant they're still working on that takes up the entire parking lot. This whole part is all the new production facility. Yeah. Here he is, flying that Corsair. Although that's not the Corsair. Nope, it's Wildcat. Twin 50 cals on the wings. And look at the canopy. Yeah, that's Mr. Parrish and his private craft we've seen number 2. All right, be right back. For all the lovers of steampunk out there, here's a little something for you. That's kind of cool. Go outside. And we'll leave the air zoo here today with a takeoff. How do you like that? Nice little Cessna. That's a 172, 4-place. Fixed landing gear. There's another aircraft that's in the pattern, high and to the east of that aircraft. Also single engine high wing. And I see an aircraft coming in here for a landing, also single engine. This is a low wing aircraft. Might be one of the Cirrus from Battle Creek. Right down there at that end of the runway near 3-5 used to be these Sky Broncos. That was their home for decades. The aviation school, Western Michigan University, they moved over to Battle Creek. Greatly extended and expanded. He just did a touch and go. We'll get an ID on this aircraft as it comes by. Western Cirrus. All right. If you have the money that the Cirrus single engine aircraft cost, you'd be surprised. Some of those are tapping on a door of $500,000 plus minimum, on the way up to over $1 million a piece. This also appears to be a Sky Bronco. Again, Cirrus aircraft. Why not? Beautiful day over here in Kalamazoo, and good weather, and get some touch and goes out of the way. All right, we're gonna get touch and going ourselves. Say goodbye, Canberra. Goodbye, Canberra. Thanks for watching. I really enjoyed making this today. My grandson was here this weekend and I didn't know, so I came today without him. Not to get back at him, but I had the time. See you in the next one.